suddenly discovered. I can see the attributes of my disciples. The first disciple is an ordinary-looking cultivation genius. The second disciple is a decisive reincarnator. The third disciple is a cold and demonic beauty. But your sect is the most obscure existence in the cultivation world. Just because when you first traveled here, the system required the disciples you recruit must have the potential to become immortals. Such people are very rare. Even if they exist, they are treasures of great sex. You are just a small cultivator with low cultivation. You could only keep a low profile. You traveled across Xuanwu Kingdom to trick your first disciple. However, when you brought him back to the sect, the ruined temple before him made him freeze. Master, is this really the gate of our #1 immortal sect? Is it? You look at the immortal talent you finally tricked. Your face shows a bit of a masterly style. A mountain does not need to be high. It is famous if there is an immortal. The girl heard this and looked enlightened. I understand. Master, is there a hidden world inside? Li Lingru said. She pushed open the leaky door with excitement. Then what appeared before her eyes was a statue with only half left. Beside it was a stove simply built with stones. Looking at her shocked expression, you remained calm, not feeling embarrassed at all. Wait, Master, I will take the wooden board from the statue for your bed. This temple is quite large. You can sleep wherever you want. Li Lingru felt her vision go dark. But there is no turning back now. If I go home now, I will be married off by my father to the fool of Minister Wang's family. A ruined temple is fine. It is better than marrying a fool. Thinking of this, Li Lingru knelt down. She gave you a heavy kowtow. As the sound fell, the system silent for 3 years finally appeared again. Completed the novice task. Reward flawless. Golden core stage. Li Lingru has a single attribute water spirit root. Issued the Supreme Taiyan Water Sutra. As the task completion sound rang out, a surge of spiritual energy rushed straight towards your dantian. Your cultivation also rose rapidly at this time. Then Li Lingru asked with some confusion. As the #1 sect of Xuanwu Kingdom, Master must have recruited many disciples. Where are the other fellow disciples? Your answer almost made her collapse. Currently, there is only you. I follow the elite route. I only recruit destined immortal talents. I never recruit mediocre people. It is over, as Mother said. Handsome men love to lie. If Li Lingru had not seen you opposing the minister family for her, this would look like meeting a scammer. Master, please do not lie to me. You directly took the sutra from the system and threw it to Li Lingru. You practice this book. You will know if I lied after practicing. Hearing your confident tone, Li Lingru looked at the cover of the book happily. However, the words on it were already blurred. Even the paper was tattered. Will I go crazy practicing this junk? The top techniques in stories. Which one does not have a great aura? If this broken book was thrown on the street, it would probably be used as toilet paper. Li Lingru looked at the broken book in her hand. She asked weakly, Master, can we change to another one? However, her unreasonable request was naturally rejected by you. Night came quickly. Li Lingru lay on the cold wooden board. She could not help but speak. Master, the temple door is leaking wind. I am cold and you yawned. I told you. Once you master the Supreme Taiyan Water Sutra, you will not be cold after reaching 30%. Li Lingru looked sideways silently, looking at the secret manual lying with her. Let it be. I chose this master myself. I must practice even with tears. She gritted her teeth and she picked up the sutra and started reading. The first line said, I am the water spirit true lord. This technique is the exclusive skill of the water spirit true lord. A true immortal technique. Li Lingru felt better and looked at the second part. I am the angry wave true lord. What water spirit true lord wrote was too weak. I have modified it. The effect is more powerful. Everyone can practice with confidence. There is even a master who modified it. Li Lingru nodded with satisfaction again. I am the sea overturning true lord. The two above are both useless. What did they write? It is misleading. I have modified it. Li Lingru was full of questions until she finished reading the first page. Good heavens, the first page is full of sentences scolding the useless people above. According to these people, this water sutra has been modified by at least 17 masters. However, it was not over yet. When she tremblingly turned the page, she felt her vision go dark. I am the North Sea Emperor. Stop modifying it. You are bad at it and love to write. I almost went crazy practicing it. This version I modified is the final version. It is safe to practice. One more thing. Stop modifying it. Li Lingru looked at the next paragraph. Fortunately, no one was modifying it anymore. Many thick ink marks erased all the words written above. Throughout the night, only one line was not erased. The spirit of water and heaven is naturally good. A useless sentence. Li Lingru looked up at you lying on the board. She spoke. Master, if I practice this, I will not go crazy, right? You walked to Li Lingru's side, patted her shoulder. Do not worry. I guarantee you will be fine. You will understand how powerful this sutra is after practicing. Li Lingru braced herself. She finished reading this had nothing to do with the original. Finished reading. Then she started practicing according to this technique. And this practice felt really different. The spiritual energy condensed quickly, rushing towards Li Lingru. Then you looked at Li Lingru in shock. She quickly broke through to the first level and in the blink of an eye, suddenly broke through to the second level. This immortal talent is so terrifying. As expected of someone with a genius attribute, Li Lingru has broken through to the second level, returning 100% cultivation. Your eyes lit up. Then, a weak spiritual energy entered your body. After that, Li Lingru seemed addicted to practicing from night until day, until the sunlight shone through the broken door. She woke you up with admiration. I am at the 5th level of chair refining. That water sutra is truly a top technique. You yawned and turned over to continue sleeping, but still praised her casually. Well done. Seeing you planning to sleep again, Li Lingru quickly said, Master, I have not reached foundation establishment yet. I have been hungry for a whole day. There is no food in this wild place. You felt a bit helpless. Did you not say this is a wild place? Go out and catch some wild chickens yourself. You are already at the 5th level of chair refining. You cannot even beat a wild chicken. Li Lingru was stunned. Maybe this is what cultivation she comforted herself. She picked up a wooden stick and walked out. But just as she left the temple, your voice came from behind. Remember to leave 2 chicken legs for me. Just entered the chair refining period. Li Lingru almost stumbled. A few hours passed when she walked back from the deep forest. It was already noon. Besides the mud on her dress, there were even mud marks on her face. The wooden stick in her hand was replaced by a wild rabbit. You looked at her dirty face. Li Lingru, I asked you to go hunting. Why do you look like you were hunted? Li Lingru almost lost her temper. She wanted to argue loudly, but remembering the powerful water sutra, she could only speak weakly. It is not that easy. Seeing her bullied expression, you spoke confidently. No need for that expression. I will show you my skills. Next time you go hunting, you will have motivation. What is the benefit of traveling across Xuanwu Kingdom? Naturally, there is no lack of spices and seasonings. Soon the rabbit was made into 3 dishes. But for rabbit meat, Li Lingru instinctively refused. But that refusal collapsed quickly after she tasted it. The spicy and fresh taste was irresistible. From that day on, her enthusiasm for hunting greatly improved. Half a month passed quickly. Li Lingru leaned by the fire. She spoke weakly, Master. I have been stuck at the 9th level for a long time. Stories say when stuck at a level, There are always some pills to help break through. Master, as the #1 cultivator of Zhuanwu Kingdom, you must have many good pills. You looked at Li Lingru. She was showing a very expectant look. It is funny, where would I get pills? If I had not recruited you, I would still be at Foundation establishment. It is not impossible. Zhuanwu Kingdom is in a remote place. It is not like the central state where golden cores are in this everywhere. Remote place. Golden core cultivation can be called an ancestor. Now you are a flawless golden core. Things you did not dare to do before may not be impossible now. Thinking of this, you made a decision. Eat quickly. I will take you after to our eating sect herb field to get some snacks for you. Li Lingru eyes lit up. So our sect really does not just have a ruined temple. There is also a spirit field, a dark and windy night. The master and disciple in the temple headed southeast. An hour later, Li Lingru finally saw the spirit field you mentioned. This spirit grass is really under the moonlight. It flickers with light from time to time. When she saw clearly what her master was doing, she was not so excited anymore. You carefully used your spiritual power. Quietly melted a big hole in the barrier. After looking around, you handed a sack to Li Lingru. I will keep watch for you. You go in and take them. Take whatever looks good. It is our own spirit field. Do not be polite. Li Lingru felt dizzy. Master, are you stealing? Looking at the sack forced into her hand, she knew this was another sect herb field, but at this moment she had to do it. Li Lingru gritted her teeth, carefully passed through the big hole. Cultivating immortals must be like this. Li Lingru walked into the spirit field, not caring if the method was right. She pulled out the nearest spirit grass. Later, she became excited unconsciously. She started looking for the brightest ones, until finally the whole sack was filled, then ran back unsatisfied, perhaps too excited to keep footsteps quiet. The sleeping herb field disciple was instantly startled awake. He opened his eyes hazily. He found a large patch of herbs missing from the field, especially several herbs the sect leader urgently needed out by the roots. Which brainless thief even stole herbs from Fuyang? Are you as bad as the sect leader? The guarding disciple roared loudly and sounded the nearby alarm. Hearing this, Li Lingru, her heart skipped a beat. You also reacted quickly. Grabbed your disciple hand and fled immediately. Faintly in the distance, only a miserable voice could be heard. Which godforsaken stingy sect leader finally gathered this immortal grass hibiscus? I have failed you. But before they could finish hearing the two had already fled back to the ruined temple. From the hands of the trembling Li Lingru, you took the basket and began to classify the Ganoderma inside. After identifying to stocks, you frowned. This girl, why did she only bring back things for tonifying Yang? Li Lingru was still a bit shaken. Master, do you often do this? You shook your head. Do not think too much. I had a small grudge with him before leaving. Pulling a few of his herbs today settles the score. What grudge? You sighed helplessly. That sect leader had a good-looking companion. She took a fancy to my peerless temperament and tried to seduce me many times. After being discovered by the sect leader, I explained to him I was not the only one being seduced. His eldest disciple also had an affair with her. But he became even more furious after hearing that. Then, I was chased by that old dog for 3 days and nights. Hearing this, Li Lingru could not help but laugh. You glanced at her, then picked out a few herbs of the right age and threw them directly into the pot. The essence of the herbs was quickly extracted. A pot. The water gradually condensed into a drop the size of a pill. You carefully wrap this drop with spiritual energy. Open your mouth, good disciple. Li Lingru was stunned. This green, oily liquid looks like poison no matter how you see it. Master, are you sure this is edible? If it were not for the poor effect and side effects of eating it raw, I would not bother refining it for you. You curled your lips in annoyance. Li Lingru had to take the green liquid and swallowed the pill. As the liquid exploded in her mouth, the incredibly bitter taste made Li Lingru grimace. But the effect was indeed good. The spiritual energy in her body surged rapidly. Seeing the disciple start practicing, you open the system page to look. There are 2 novice tasks in total. One is to recruit a qualified disciple. The other is the disciple cultivation level. Reaching the early stage of foundation establishment for novice task can also be completed, then formal tasks will be unlocked. It turns out, refining pills in an iron pot is quite effective. Not long after, Li Lingru began to prepare for the breakthrough. Half an hour later, the system notification sound arrived. Eldest disciple Li Lingru has broken through the foundation establishment. Reward Divine Ability 3000 Weak Water Swords. Issued. Formal task recruit to qualified disciples. Formal task 2. Recruit 3 qualified disciples. The main task is within expectations. But where can I find such good disciples? You could not help but sigh. And this scene was caught by Li Lingru, who just opened her eyes. She was full of questions upon seeing this. Did Master mess up his own cultivation? Or is the breakthrough method wrong? Master, am I finished? You snapped out of it and looked at her strangely. What nonsense are you talking about? Well speaking, you took the newly obtained divine ability and threw it to Li Lingru. This is a divine ability, practice it well. Li Lingru put it away carefully, then silently retreated to her own wooden board, seeming not happy at all about her breakthrough. To foundation establishment. And you silently sighed again. Where can I find another talented disciple? At the same time, a figure gradually appeared not far from the ruined temple, the blood feud of the past. I will surely make them pay in blood in this life. Well speaking, a hint of ruthlessness appeared in his eyes. In his previous life, his talent was ordinary. He suffered humiliation after joining the Qingfeng sect. He finally obtained a treasure to turn his life around by a wicked demonic woman. Until he had nothing left. Even his cultivation was drained by her. The most hateful thing was she did not even let him hold her hand. Since I have been given a chance to be reborn, then I must seek revenge in this life. Li Wuhan destination was a mountain god temple not far away. There is a stone containing 1,000-year-old jade. In the temple, absorbing it can transform one's body. In his previous life, he was the destined person who got the jade. In this life, he came even earlier. He is still that destined person. But when Li Wuhan climbed over the familiar slope and looked up, he saw a young and beautiful female cultivator. She was currently practicing sword techniques with a wooden sword. Damn it. It is a woman. Li Wuhan cursed in his heart, but he did not rush forward. Now he is just a weakling at the second level of refining. Upon closer observation, Li Wuhan noticed something unusual. She was actually practicing a top-tier sword divine ability. One must know that in only Zhangzhou, those who learn divine abilities are called geniuses. Is this a disciple of some mysterious sect in Zhangzhou, out for a journey? Li Wuhan was shocked. He quickly and carefully tried to slip away along the slope. However, the next moment, a wooden sword was at his throat. The girl practicing the sword looked cold. Who sent you? Is it the minister of Zhuanwu Kingdom, or did the Taiking sect find our tracks? Facing the wooden sword at his throat, Li Wuhan thoughts raced. Thinking of what excuse to use, to stall, a voice came slowly from the direction of the temple. This talented young man must be here to join our sect, right? Li Lingru was a bit speechless. Master, I think that is unlikely. You did not answer, but looked closely at the young man in front of you. Li Wuhan's second level of refining a reborn person. Decisive in killing, valuing friendship and loyalty, meets the requirements for recruitment. You were stunned upon seeing this. Good heavens! This looks like a protagonist template. It is rare to have a disciple come to the door. I must take him in no matter what. Seeing you look as if you could see through him, Li Wuhan could not help but be alarmed. Senior, What sect is this? Li Lingru also looked at you with curiosity because she did not know either. Every time she asked, you would always brush it off. Hearing this, you immediately acted like a grandmother. Tiando Temple. Li Wuhan pupils shrank, daring to use Heavenly Tao as a name. These two must be from some hidden immortal sect. Before Li Wuhan could speak, you narrowed your eyes and looked at him. You had the scent of karma on you? At this time, the world. Li Wuhan heart pounded wildly. This person can see through the karma of the world. To meet such a big shot in such a remote place. While he was brainstorming frantically, you were also racking your brains just to fool this reborn person. It can be said you are destined to meet me. Are you willing to join my sect? Li Wuhan looked at you in disbelief, just about to say something, but hesitated. You naturally saw his concern. He was just afraid you were setting a trap for him. Since Li Wuhan is a reborn person, then in this ruined temple, there must be something very important to him. Thinking of this, you seemed to see through his mind and laughed. The treasure you think of, in our eyes, is just something insignificant. Go take your destiny. It is a pity your vision is short. You do not know what a true destiny is. Li Wuhan struggled in his heart, but still bowed and thanked the senior for being merciful. After some searching, he finally found it under the table leg. The 1,000-year-old jade he had been longing for. After bowing to thank you again, Li Wuhan took the 1,000-year-old jade and quickly left the ruined temple. Watched Li Wuhan leave. Master, you just let him go like that. Hearing the disciples' words, you quickly stopped acting like a grandmother. You practice at home first. I am going out for a while. You suddenly discovered you could see the attribute tags of your disciples. The first disciple is an ordinary genius of cultivation. The second disciple is a decisive reborn person. The third disciple is a cold and beautiful girl. But the sect you are in is the most inconspicuous existence in the cultivation world. The ruined temple planned to find a safe place to refine the jade first. He secretly slipped out of his sect in this life. Now he is probably already on the wanted list. Not only that, your words were also echoing in his mind. Did he really miss a true destiny? With doubt, Li Wuhan came to an end. But as soon as he entered, he met his former fellow disciples. He cursed his bad luck and quickly lowered his head. Unfortunately, what he feared most happened. One of the Qingfeng sect disciples had a sharp eye, then led 4 disciples toward Li Wuhan. You kid, are you the one on the wanted list? Knowing he could not hide, Li Wuhan chose to strike first, reached out and grabbed a chopstick. The spiritual power in his body suddenly erupted. Facing Li Wuhan's sudden attack, the leading disciple sneered, then punched toward Li Wuhan's head. A mere waste at the second level of chi refining dares to fight back. The chopstick and the palm collided quickly, but the result was beyond everyone's expectation. The chopstick in Li Wuhan's hand pierced through the palm and continued to attack the leading senior's head. Just as he was about to succeed, a sharp golden core aura suddenly erupted. The massive spiritual power was like a flood dragon rushing toward Li Wuhan. Li Wuhan looked over and saw a white-haired old man looking at him indifferently. The second elder of Qingfeng sect, mid-stage golden core cultivation. Just as this thought appeared in his mind, that massive spiritual power into his body, deserting the sect and attacking fellow disciples. According to Qingfeng sect rules, you should be executed. Li Wuhan had no room to struggle. The thin spiritual power in his body was already scattered. The words of that senior echoed in his mind again. That offer of discipleship was just meant to save his life. Just as Li Wuhan was in despair, a familiar voice suddenly rang out. Listen. Give me some face. The second elder looked quickly at the young man who was about to speak. This fellow Taoist, you have not answered me. He just picked up the chopsticks on the table and gently extended them forward. A surge of sword chi erupted from the chopsticks. This is a divine ability. The second elder took a deep breath. His attitude quickly became gentle. This person is a traitor of my Qingfeng sect. If I let him go like this, Where would the face of the Qingfeng sect go? Let me go. Li Wuhan, who was slumped on the ground, I spent 3 years in the sect digging in the spirit mines. The disciples who were recruited from my village back then. There were 17 of us in total. Now I am the only one left. The second elder's heart skipped a beat. He hurriedly interrupted. Traitor! How dare you spread rumors about our Qingfeng sect? You immediately looked at the old man through the status panel. Middle stage of golden core. Mediocre talent. Very old. Plagued by inner demons. The moment you saw the status panel, your confidence grew. So he is just a sickly old man. You sneered. I thought the Qingfeng sect was some kind of righteous sect. It seems it is just a place for worms. How can my Zhangzhou Jiandao alliance associate with you? The gap between the chopsticks wrapped in energy suddenly expanded as if it would explode in the next moment. How could the second elder dare to fight now? With this display of divine ability, even if the opponent is just an extraordinary young lad, he would likely lose the fight. Furthermore, the name Zhangzhou is like a thunderclap. Just as the second elder was thinking of how to speak without losing face, a flattering voice suddenly came from outside the door. Seniors, please calm down. You scanned the area. It was a man from the Zhuanwu Kingdom Demon Suppressing Temple. Man in official cultivation uniform is at the middle stage of foundation. Not to mention how many mortals might die. Bearing this karma for no reason is not worth it. What do the two seniors think? The second elder felt a sense of relief in his heart. Since the director has spoken, then my Qingfeng sect will give you face. You did not say much. Just reached out and grabbed the slumped Li Wuhan, then turned into a red light and departed. Li Wuhan endured the pain and thanked the senior for saving his life. About that, you should thank my first disciple first. Li Wuhan looked very confused. However, you did not because answer. You could use the divine ability at the critical moment, mainly thanks to your first disciple. If he had not mastered the divine ability at the key moment, you would not have received a synchronized reward from the system. As the two of them returned to the ruined temple, you quickly used your own spiritual to sense power. The other person's condition. At this moment, Li Wuhan's internal organs were all severely damaged. In this situation, relying on self-recovery would be difficult. He must be given some carefully refined healing elixir. You looked at your disciple Li Lingru. Start the pot and refine the pills. Li Lingru's eyes lit up. Although she was disgusted by the stinky medicine, it did not stop her from wanting to see others Shortly after, a foul smell of herbs began to spread. You nodded with satisfaction. Then you used high heat to thicken the liquid. Wrapped the final extracted healing medicine in spiritual power and took it out. Li Lingru looked at this drop. The color was even more bizarre than the previous one. She felt comforted in her heart. Li Wuhan saw this. A bad feeling slowly arose. This is not meant to be swallowed, is it? You smiled slightly. Open your mouth and swallow it. This will keep you safe. At this time, who did not flinch in the face of pain, finally changed his expression. A true man can face pain, but he cannot face a broom stained with filth. Seeing your confident expression, Li Wuhan steeled his heart. He opened his mouth to the unknown liquid. As expected, the taste of this medicine matched its color. With a terrifying bitterness, it bloomed from the tip of his tongue straight to his soul. Li Wuhan's expression became increasingly distorted. What surprised him was, under the influence of this medicinal liquid, the physical pain suddenly faded away. Night soon arrived. You gave the roasted rabbit head directly to today's greatest contributor, Li Lingru. Then you gave half a rabbit to Li Wuhan. But looking at the delicious rabbit in front of him, Li Wuhan did not move. Seeing this, you spoke calmly. Eat. This rabbit is not a divine weapon. Li Wuhan naturally understood the hidden meaning in your words. It is not that. It is just the senior's life-saving grace. I have not yet repaid it. You looked at Li Wuhan, who was trying hard to explain. You nodded and agreed on the surface with a smile. But behind your back, you signaled frantically to Li Lingru. Dear disciple, come and help. You suddenly discovered you could see your disciple's attribute panel. The first disciple is an ordinary-looking cultivation. The second disciple is a decisive reincarnator. The third disciple is a cold and icy demoness. But the sect you are in is the most inconspicuous existence in the cultivation world. Immediately put down the rabbit head in her hand. Her tone returned to being cold and blunt. You are penniless right now. Not to mention your life was saved by my master. Even the opportunity you rely on most was given to you by my master. I do not know what my master sees in you, but personally, I feel, with your talent, you are not worthy to enter our Jiandao alliance. Li Wuhan lowered his head silently. Actually, it is not that I am ungrateful. It is just that I still have many things to do. I cannot stay in the sect for long. Listening to Li Wuhan's sincere explanation, you nodded in agreement. General sects indeed like to restrict their disciples. But our Jiandao alliance is different. As long as your heart is with the sect, you can go to the ends of the earth. Li Wuhan understood the senior's hidden meaning. He was not stupid. If I must be a disciple, then so be it. Now, perhaps becoming a disciple is the true opportunity after reincarnation. Disciple recruitment successful. Reward technique, Hanyu bone refining body art. Spirit gathering array. Seeing the system's progress page, you nodded with great satisfaction. Li Lingruo was also quite excited in her heart. This was her first time being a senior sister. But when she turned her gaze to her master, she found your face full of dark lines. Master, are you okay? Hearing the call, you quickly closed the system panel in front of you. I am Fine. I was just studying your junior brother's cultivation technique. Hearing this, Li Wuhan shook his head. No need, master. I have my own cultivation technique. You did just not took the body much. Refining art the system just gave and handed it directly to Li Wuhan. Take a look at this technique first. If you think it is not good, you can still practice your own. Hearing that it was not a mandatory requirement, Li Wuhan felt relieved. Then he opened the first page to check. He was shocked by what he saw. The more Li Wuhan looked, the more stunned he became. Saw his surprised eyes. She then spoke in the tone of someone who had been through it. Junior brother, it is normal for cultivation techniques to have many versions. It is also normal for the handwriting to be a bit blurry. Just practice it boldly. Li Wuhan just glanced at Li Lingruo after hearing that. Then he looked back at you lying on the wooden bed. Senior sister, is our Jiandao alliance an evil sect? Li Lingruo frowned. Evil sect? What nonsense are you talking about? We all practice the righteous path. Li Wuhan was silent. He silently handed the technique in his hand to Li Lingruo. Li Lingruo curiously opened the first page. The handwriting was clear, and the strokes were upright. Is this not very good? Just these few glances. It look much better than her own book. Li Lingruo continued to read with such doubts. But the following content also made her heart tremble with fear. My goodness! Whose cultivation technique is so terrifying? After flipping through a few more pages, Li Lingruo shoved a book directly back to Li Wuhan. Their conversation naturally did not escape your ears. You sighed helplessly. That book is not for standard cultivation. Li Wuhan heard this and looked down at the content in the book again. When cultivating the foundation establishment stage, first kill 1,000 blood beasts and dismantle their limbs. Their bones. Master. Is your definition of an evil cultivator a bit too low? It indeed does not mean it has to be humans. Just find a few unintelligent monsters in the forest to make up the numbers. Li Wuhan nodded. If they can be replaced, the power of this technique is much stronger than what he practiced in his previous life. Li Wuhan's worries disappeared, but yours did not. There was a reason for your frown just now. Because the spirit gathering array reward was just a blueprint. Not only do you have to prepare the materials and spirit stones, but you even have to build it yourself. Is this not a scam? Where would I get the money to build this thing? Early the next morning, you plan to do some work nearby. The basic work for the spirit gathering regarding array. The issue of spirit stones. As a reincarnator, Li Wuhan should have a way to get them. You found the right spot and stuck a branch in. But in the next moment, an explosion came from beside you. You were sent flying by the blast. You waved your hand to fan away the dust in annoyance. Who digs a hole like you do? Li Lingruo was very confused. If not like this, then how? To bury the array foundation, the soil needs to be filled back later. You blasted it everywhere. What will you use to fill it back? Hearing the master's words, Li Lingruo silently looked back. The soil scattered all around. But she still felt a bit wrong. But if I do not dig like this, it will take a long time to dig. You shook your head helplessly. I did not ask you to finish digging in one day. Until your junior brother finished refining that broken stone. Then you can take him to dig together. Meanwhile, inside the ruined temple, Li Wuhan was sitting cross-legged. That 1,000-year-old ancient jade was constantly pouring out washing energy. His bones. You observed carefully for a while. After finding that nothing went wrong with this second disciple, stepped aside. By noon, Li Wuhan had still not finished refining. Instead, Li Lingruo came back panting. She looked at the two people in the ruined temple, especially when she saw her master lying leisurely on the wooden board. She finally could not help but speak. Master, why am I the only one digging? Are you not going to dig this? You immediately pointed to Li Wuhan, who was meditating and absorbing the ancient jade. Do you think I am being lazy? I was just worried that something would go wrong with your junior brother. So I came to check on him. After all, your junior brother takes so long to refine my first disciple who is capable and smart. You make me feel much more at ease. Li Lingruo's reaction was different from expected. Her expression instantly became cold. The grievance from just now was gone. Master, no need to say more. Since the junior brother has joined our sect, taking care of him is my duty. Seeing your disciples change, you knew exactly what happened. Li Wuhan behind you had finished absorbing the jade and you quickly made an excuse to send Li Lingruo away. I will leave it to you. My cultivation talent is lacking. I have troubled the master too much. At this moment, Li Wuhan has successfully refined the 1,000-year-old jade. Just opened his eyes and saw your eager gaze. Master, what is wrong? You did not speak, but instead used your divine sense to check that Li Lingruo was no longer around. A smile finally appeared on your face, my disciple. You must have had many adventures in your past life. Are there any secret realms nearby? Or perhaps some natural treasures? Li Wuhan fell into deep thought upon hearing this. The secret realms near us have long been cleared out by various sects. As for adventures, you can only encounter them after reaching Zhangzhou. You shook your head helplessly. Is there really no place to earn some spirit stones? Li Wuhan was slightly stunned. Master, believe me, you can get many spirit stones at the Qingfeng sect mine. I dug for spirit stones there for 3 years. There is only one golden core cultivator guarding it. If Master is confident, perhaps there is profit to be made. But strangely, you did not agree immediately. Just looked at Li Wuhan with a cold gaze. Sensing the atmosphere was not right, Li Wuhan quickly cupped his hands and spoke. I have no intention of seeking revenge for myself. However, before he could finish, you shook your head and interrupted. Then this time we are not doing it for spirit stones, but to seek revenge for you. And earn some pocket money along the way. Li Wuhan looked at you in a daze after hearing this, but you did not give him a chance to speak. Tell me where the mine is located first. I will go scout the area first. Li Wuhan nodded blankly. Then he drew a map on the floor. Li Wuhan drawing was decent. He also marked some obvious landmarks. You nodded with satisfaction. There is no time to lose. I will go check the situation first. You and your senior sister stay home after cultivate well. You took out 3 talismans. 2 of these are 1,000-mile teleportation One is a defensive talisman. It can withstand an attack from a golden core cultivator. If you encounter a problem, do not listen to your senior sister. Just take her and run. According to the direction Li Wuhan pointed out, even for you, it would take a day journey. Seeing the master leave, Li Wuhan slowly took out the book you gave him. The divine body refining he originally had some concerns. Seeing you treat him so well, he decided to practice it first. And this practice felt truly different. Li Wuhan could feel the Tao body within him being fully activated when he opened his eyes again. It was already dark. Senior sister had already returned. Sitting by the fire, Li Lingruo noticed her junior brother finished his cultivation. She quickly asked where master went. Li Wuhan did not hide what happened. He told her everything, and Li Lingruo heard the answer. Her mood seemed a bit low, but she did not say anything else. Just picked up the wild chicken she caught today. Junior brother, you are still at the chair refining stage and cannot fast. You must be hungry. A little bit. Then you come and cook this wild chicken. Li Wuhan was stunned. He wanted to refuse. But then he remembered your instructions before leaving. She is still young. You must take good care of her. Li Wuhan sighed, took the wild chicken. Half an hour later, a roar came from the quiet temple. Junior brother, what on earth did you cook? Are you trying to murder your senior sister? Today is the first day Master left the ruined temple. Li Wuhan was outside the temple, woken up by a violent fluctuation of spiritual energy, looked at his senior sister not far away. At this moment, she was holding a wooden sword, constantly using her divine powers to blast a large tree. I must say, senior sister ambition is quite interesting. Building a house and cutting wood while practicing divine powers. With such talent, it must be true that Master came from Zhangzhou. I do not know why Master is so poor. Senior sister, who knocked down the tree, seemed to sense someone and turned around, looking at Li Wuhan. Although Li Wuhan in this life no longer trusts women much, looking at the little senior sister Master entrusted to him, he still gave a slightly forced smile. The first day Master left, Li Lingruo woke up very early. Today's goal is to collect all the wood for building the small hut. After all being under the same roof with someone from a noble family, she still could not quite accept it. Many thoughts flashed through her mind. Li Lingruo still knocked down the trees in front of her. Sensing a gaze from behind, she turned around and saw her cheap junior brother. Although she did not understand why Master took him in, still respected Master's decision. But when this cheap junior brother gave her a slightly silly smile, she really wanted to tell Master, "Next time you take a disciple, could you do a simple IQ test?" Back in the day, she was also known as a talented woman. She had never dealt with people of low intelligence and did not know how to interact correctly with a junior brother who lacks intelligence. He has cultivated for many days, yet he is still lingering around the 4th level of chi refining. Since Master is not here, as the senior sister, I should supervise him well. Thinking of this, Li Lingruo patted the fallen tree beside her. Use your spiritual power carefully. Turn this wood into planks. This will greatly improve your control over spiritual power. Li Wuhan was a bit speechless. Hard labor is hard labor. Why use control as an excuse? But just then, your instructions rang in his mind again. Take good care of your senior sister. Thinking of this, Li Wuhan sighed. Li Lingruo heard this, quickly turned into a red light and left. She had seen the technique her junior brother practiced. It required many bloodstones from demonic beasts. Building a house for her, so she will get some bloodstones for him. Meanwhile, inside the mine, you concealed your aura, slowly observing the situation in the mine below. It was the official digging time during the day. Loud noises often rang out from the mine. The Qingfeng sect disciples looked at the group of miners with arrogance. Your gaze swept across, quickly locked onto a building that looked like a warehouse. The golden core cultivator Li Wuhan is probably stationed inside. You silently noted the terrain. Just as you were planning to go back and discuss a strategy, someone suddenly stepped into your range of divine sense. Then a long sword suddenly appeared in your hand. But when you investigated carefully, you found the person was just a mortal without any cultivation. What is going on? With doubt, you cautiously approached the direction of the person. It was a little girl with thin hands wearing old hemp clothes. She kept walking with difficulty in one direction, then unconsciously circled back to the starting point. She is trapped in a maze formation. You used the system to look at her attribute panel. Name Ning Nanan cultivation known. Persistent, loyal, and righteous. Clever does not meet the requirements for a disciple. It looks like she is likely someone who escaped from the mine. After some thought, you decided to take her away first. Maybe you can get some useful information. Thinking of this, you put on a mask to cover your face, reached out your hand, picked up the little girl, and used Earth Great Immortal, little Immortal. I am really just lost. Ning Nanan, who was tied to a tree, said while crying bitterly. She also secretly looked up at the person who tied her up. At this moment, he was wearing a demon mask. A pair of eyes looking at her very coldly. As expected, Qingfeng sect is not right. My dad must have been deceived by those immortals. You looked at Ning Nanan speechlessly. Stop crying. I am not from Qingfeng sect. While speaking, you took out a piece of flatbread and stuffed it into her mouth, fearing that this bread might have some immortal trap. Ning Nanan quickly shook her head and refused. But when the soft breadcrumbs entered her mouth, she, who had been hungry for several days, immediately gave up struggling. Do not eat so fast. You will die before I can save you. What exactly are you doing here? Are you someone who escaped from the mine? Ning Nanon took a timid look at the masked man. I am really lost. You did not continue to ask. From your spatial ring, took out some silver coins and flatbread, then pointed a direction for Ning Nanon. If you do not want to say, I will not ask more. There is a nearby town over there. Do not come near here in the future. Wait a moment. What is it? The latter looked hesitant. Great Immortal, which sect are you from, Zhangzhou? Wanfa Immortal sect, Zhangzhou, Dad said. It is a legendary holy land for cultivation. Thinking of this, her tears suddenly flowed out. My dad and I live in Ningjia village. This year the village suffered a disaster. We could not even eat one meal in 2 days. At this time I heard. You can have whatever you want. Dad believed it was true. Asked the people from Qingfeng sect for some food for me. Then he followed them. Many older brothers also went. Please do not leave. You looked at the dirty and thin Ning Nanon, sighed slightly. Her dad was not stupid. Perhaps he just wanted to leave some hope for his daughter. Fine, then how did you know they were liars? Hearing the question, Ning Nanon quickly took out a cloth bundle from her clothes. What was wrapped inside was not anything precious, but a bowl of dry yellow soil. Not long after these immortals left, all the food they left behind turned into yellow soil. The ant next door ate the white buns given by these immortals, and soon died from being stuffed with this yellow soil. You reached out and pinched the yellow soil. At this moment, this yellow soil still had some spiritual energy that had not yet dissipated. I did not expect sect would not even give real food in exchange for lives. Facing Ning Nanon expectant gaze, you only felt a bit helpless. Getting some spirit stones from the mine should not be too difficult, but under the support of a golden core master and Qingfeng sect, rescuing people is not easy. You sighed, looked sincerely at the thin little girl in front of you. These mountains are very rugged and difficult to travel. There are also demonic beasts from time to time. I really do not know how the little girl in front of me could get here. The matter of saving your dad cannot be rushed. I have to go back and make a plan first. Are you willing to come with me now? Then if you do not want to save my dad anymore, can you bring me back here? I am not like a great immortal on this road. It was actually a bit difficult for me to walk. You nodded, immediately used all your spiritual power towards the ruined temple. After a day of traveling, there was only a short distance left to the ruined temple. At this moment, Ning Nanon was leaning against a large tree eating a biscuit. You were on the side, alert to the surroundings. Great Immortal is Qingfeng sect. Really a righteous sect in your world. It is said to be a righteous sect. They will take on commissions from the government to eliminate demons. Of course, if they did something, it is not difficult to hide the news. Ning Nanon understood these principles as well. After all, he just lacked experience. He is not stupid. Would your sect do such things too? Hearing this, you could not help but look up. If I were to do such things, I would not have been soft-hearted enough to take you away. Great Immortal, then your disciples must also be all very good people, right? You nod without hesitation. My eldest disciple is kind to others. My second disciple is an even more loyal and righteous good disciple, and they both practice the upright and bright immortal path. Half an hour later, the two finally arrived near the However, you temple, did not teleport directly back when you were almost there, because from the direction of the ruined temple, a strong smell of blood came rushing towards you. Your expression looks a bit troubled. Could it be that they met with disaster? You quickly searched towards the ruined temple. Soon you sensed two familiar breaths in the ruined temple. They were even alive and kicking. Then what is with this bloody smell? You did not choose to continue teleporting, controlled spiritual energy to fly with Ning Nanon. Experiencing flight for the first time, Ning Nanon was so happy she could not close her mouth. When he saw the ruined temple, And the great Immortal was flying straight towards the ruined temple. He could no longer smile. Outside the ruined temple was piled with flesh and several bones. Heads of unknown animals were thrown aside carelessly. It looked very terrifying. Ning Nanon swallowed hard. Great Immortal, are you planning to subdue demons? At this moment, only this explanation could justify the flying great straight to that dangerous temple. However, your answer almost made Ning Nanon faint. What subduing demons? We have arrived. What kind of upright sect is this? What kind of righteous leader lives in a place full of damn bones? Ning Nanon felt cheated again. Not a single immortal cultivator is a good person. You did not have the heart to worrying about the pale face of the girl beside you. Because at this moment, you were also a bit green hills and clear water when I left. But it looks like a mess now that I am home. After putting down the silent Ning Nanon, you shouted loudly towards the temple. What are you two little rascals doing? Li Lingruo heard this. She was the first to rush out of the temple master. You are finally back. Before you could question them, Li Wuhan, who was covered in blood and carrying a tiger head, also walked out of the temple. Master, you are finally back. You pointed to the pile of animal heads nearby. What is going on? Li Lingruo understood why Master was angry. She immediately shifted the blame. This was all caused by junior brother's Cultivation. Ning Nanon, who still held a sliver of hope, gave up after hearing this. Although she did not understand the cultivation world would have such a bloody cultivation method, Li Wuheng sighed. Most of the animals were caught by senior sister, and for this situation, theoretically, senior sister's responsibility is greater. After all, at the beginning, he planned to dig a hole to bury these bones, but senior sister thought it was too much trouble. Sorry, Master. I got a bit carried away with cultivation lately. I will handle this now. Li Lingruo looked at the person beside Master, the thin Ning Nanon. She looked so small and thin. Her face was also very pale. This one looks even worse than second junior brother Master. Is this a new disciple? No, it is a doing of the Qingfeng sect. You sighed and explained the situation of the mine and Ning Nanon to them. After hearing the story, Li Lingruo looked at Ning Nanon with sympathy. We will do our best to help you. Don't worry, you didn't say much. You signaled with your eyes for Li Lingruo to comfort Ning Nanon. Then you took out the mine map you drew and gave it to Li Wuhan. If we plan to save people at the mine, how difficult would it be? Li Wuhan scanned the terrain. If Master is at the incarnation stage, it would not be difficult. Hearing this, you fell into silence. If we act quickly, it is possible. I can only use the strength of a flawless golden core level now. Li Wuhan was speechless for a moment. As long as the plan is detailed, it should not be particularly difficult. After some discussion, Li Wuhan quickly began to cultivate. According to the plan, he needs to break through to the foundation stage soon. At that time, you who receive the system reward will be able to break through to the late golden core stage. Additionally, some intelligence on the Qingfeng sect was collected. There is a grand elder in the sect who is at the nascent having lived stage in this world for a few years. You understand to prepare for the worst, because everything will surely develop towards the unluckiest situation. So you specifically reminded Li Wuhan to make arrangements for the worst case. Speaking of bad luck, you looked at Li Lingruo, who was drinking chicken soup. Your eldest disciple has the great luck trait, but after spending time with her, you didn't feel she was lucky. You never saw her any ancient treasures while walking around. Noticing Master's gaze, Li Lingruo looked at her master with doubt. Lingruo, how do you think your luck is? Li Lingruo tilted her head and thought for a while. It is okay since there is nothing to do now. Let's test what level okay means. In her words, thinking of this, you took out 2 dice from your spatial ring. Speaking of luck, nothing is more direct than this. Let's play a game of high or low. I am not very good at it. There should be no punishment if I lose. You took a piece of unburned wood from the fire. How about drawing a mark if you lose? Li Lingruo's eyes lit up hearing this. She is still a young girl after all, naturally interested in such activities. A competition between master and disciples soon began. About 10 minutes later, Li Lingruo, with a face full of black marks, sat blankly on the chair. seemingly contemplating life. Because for about 10 minutes, she did not win a single round. Even if she rolled 3 6s, you could easily roll 3 6s as well. At first, she thought Master was cheating with the dice, but nothing changed after swapping them. On the other hand, your face had no marks at all. You also looked at Li Linggruo with confusion. Is the great luck trait of the eldest disciple fake? Or is my luck overwhelming hers? But recalling what happened when you first came to this world, you quickly dismissed the idea. At that time, you were so unlucky that even drinking cold water was hard. After a few days of intensive cultivation, Li Wuhan finally reached the time to break through. You reluctantly took out the remaining spirit stones and built a simple spirit gathering array for him. Li Linggruo was boiling water nearby. Her expression was a bit seemingly strange, expecting something. However, Li Wuhan, who was about to break through, did not look so good. He looked solemnly at his senior sister and the boiling water in the pot. Finally, he took a deep breath. Master, actually, I am confident even without those pills. You threw the last herb into the pot. Don't worry this time. I have researched what seasonings to add to make the pills taste delicious. If you don't believe my alchemy skills, you shouldn't doubt my cooking. Li Wuhan felt this was somewhat convincing. So he looked at Master, hoping he would keep his word. However, the next moment, Li Wuhan saw the same old alchemy method. As the green water bubbled up, he felt his face turning green. Just like the water, what has changed? But when the pill was about to be concentrated, you quickly added honey and cooked flour, mixed with some strange seasonings. Soon the liquid was absorbed by the flour. You proudly handed the greenish pill to Li Wuhan. Taste it. Facing Master's encouraging gaze, Li Wuhan steeled his heart and swallowed it. At the same time, he caught his senior sister's scrutinizing gaze. As for the taste, Li Wuhan realized that alchemy and cooking have nothing in common at all, especially with the addition of flour. It actually got stuck in his throat, combined with the terrible taste of the liquid. It was pure torture. Although the taste was horrible, the pill worked very fast. Li Wuhan quickly entered a cultivation state, absorbing the spiritual energy from the stones. It seems the effect of this experimental product was not good. Is the taste not enough to cover it? You thought for a moment, then looked at Li Linggruo, who was looking relieved. Li Linggruo shook her head repeatedly. Master, let junior brother try such good things first in the future. Li Wuhan's breakthrough went smoothly. By sunset, his spiritual energy condensed within his body. Master, the plan can begin. Near the Qingfeng mine area, the master and disciple quietly hid. Li Linggruo carefully observed the situation in the mine. Master, isn't this too risky for junior brother? Theoretically, you are in more danger than him. Li Linggruo looked at her master with doubt. And you said this for a reason. The talisman that can resist golden core attacks and to teleportation talismans all on him. At this moment, Li Wuhan is disguised as a miner, just as he predicted. The Qingfeng sect disciples would not seriously compare those ants in the mine. You relax slightly. It seems the backup plan is not needed for now. Now we just need to wait for Li Wuhan to start the operation. Only the 3 of them participated. Ning Nanan has no cultivation. It would be meaningless. So staying in the ruined temple is more appropriate. Li Wuhan acts as the observer to carefully observe the mine and find Ning Nanan's father. You act as the attacker to hit the temporary warehouse guarded by the golden core and attract everyone's attention. Li Linggruo will stay back and provide support if there is a special situation. On the other side, Li Wuhan scanned the area. But among the miners outside, he did not find Ning Nanan's father. He is likely mining in the cave. I must find a chance to get in. Thinking of this, he quietly made a gesture towards Master's direction. After a short wait, a sharp sword whistle sounded from a distance. 3 Qingfeng sect disciples chatting nearby looked towards the sound. 2 of them quickly rushed over. The remaining one rang the huge bell in the center of the mine. The ringing of the bell spread quickly. The crowd began to stir. At the same time, miners also rushed out from the mine. A disciple of the Qingfeng sect shouted for order. Everyone stand in your shifts. With that stern shout, the restless crowd quickly calmed down. Li Wuhan soon found Ning Nan in the crowd, the father of Nan. He glanced slightly toward the warehouse, waiting to see if the Golden Core Master inside would appear. This person is the key figure who determines how far the plan can go. But until the two who went to investigate Qingfeng sect disciples returned, that person did not show up. Seeing this, Li Wuhan quickly blended into the crowd of miners. Under the arrangement of the Qingfeng sect disciples, he began to walk into the mine cave. I will return to the sect now to report to the leader and elders. You all stay alert. An older Qingfeng sect disciple took charge of the situation. This is a critical moment. No matter what, the mine must be kept running normally. Yes, senior brother. Having successfully blended into the mining crowd, Li Wuhan quickly took the token and stuffed it into the hand of Ning Nan and father. In the dim and dark mine, Ning Kun's eyes locked onto Li Wuhan while tightly clutching the cloth in his hand. A piece of cloth that Li Wuhan did not look at him, whispered a word. Ning Kun's eyes lit up. But before he could speak, Li Wuhan raised a hand to stop him. Follow me closely no matter what happens later. After saying this, he ignored Ning Kun and quickly picked up a pickaxe nearby, walking deeper into the mine. As they went deeper into the cave, a very sinister feeling instantly spread through Li Wuhan's heart. Something is wrong with this mine. He quickly gripped the teleportation talisman from his master, carefully following the crowd around a corner. But what came into view next was not a mine waiting to be excavated, but an extremely eerie and terrifying scene. Several strange heads were hanging on the high sacrificial altar. 6 people in black robes sat cross-legged on the ground, absorbing the blood energy from the surrounding pool on the blood-stained sacrificial altar. No one knew how many people had died here. His pupils shrank in shock. He looked at the people around him, but found that everyone seemed normal. At this moment, they seemed to think they were still in a crowded mine. This is an illusion. Is he immune to this illusion? Or is something protecting him from this illusion? Li Wuhan suppressed his unease, choosing to continue following the crowd for now. He had to figure out what the Qingfeng sect was doing. Passing the altar, going deeper inside, it looked like a normal mine. Everyone held mining tools, ready to mine. The mine still looks like a real mine for now. But what on earth is that sacrificial ritual? This doubt, when the first miner started digging with a pickaxe, Li Wuhan suddenly realized. With every swing of the pickaxe, a faint dark red energy flowed from the miner head toward the blood pool. Li Wuhan stared closely at a miner and suddenly noticed this dark red energy seemed to be extracted from the spiritual root. No wonder those miners all look so thin and haggard. I must find a way to inform Master. The aura of those 6 black-robed men is around Foundation establishment. If the items Master gave me are reliable, fighting my way out might be a good idea. On the day Li Wuhan reached Foundation establishment, Master gave him a divine ability that suited him perfectly. He scanned the area first. After confirming the surroundings, Li Wuhan stuck to his usual way. Strike first and enjoy it. He suddenly gripped the pickaxe in his hand and turned back toward the sacrificial altar. A guarding Qingfeng sect disciple noticed Li Wuhan immediately. What are you doing? Li Wuhan showed a bit of fear on his face. I need to use the latrine, he said while approaching the disciple. The schedule is tight lately. Even if you soil yourself, you must keep working. When he was close enough, Li Wuhan suddenly exploded and the pickaxe in his hand turned into a great blade. Dark red energy quickly slashed toward the Qingfeng disciple head. The disciple could not react in time, especially against a divine ability technique. He could only look terrified before his head was crushed. What Li Wuhan did not expect was that while channeling his spiritual energy, he also vaguely sensed the energy of the pool. Before Li Wuhan could sense more, another black-robed man suddenly stood up. Where did this brat come from to cause trouble? Master has second junior brother been inside too long? Li Lingruo could not help but feel worried. Signaled and entered the mine. There has been no news. Wait a bit longer, you frown slightly. Li Wuhan has the teleportation talisman. Even if he cannot win, there should be no problem. But just then, a violent explosion sounded from the mine. Then a surge of evil spiritual energy suddenly gushed out from the mine. This time without waiting for Li Lingruo to speak. The Golden Core Elder in the warehouse had already walked out of the storage. No matter what Li Wuhan's situation is, you must stop that Golden Core first. You decisively took a spirit sword from your spatial ring before going up. You handed a teleportation talisman to Li Lingruo. Use it immediately if you encounter danger. Then find a place to hide. After giving instructions, you put on your mask again and launched a powerful move without hesitation. Your strongest technique is the divine ability Li Lingruo learned. 3,000 weak water swords. The Elder was in a hurry to provide backup and did not notice you attacking him. The plan has reached a critical moment where nothing must go wrong. He had already crushed a signal talisman. As long as there is a slight delay, other elders from the Qingfeng sect will come to help against your sudden killing move. By the time he noticed, there was no time to resist. He could only squeeze his golden core to force a defense. But that sword strike was like cutting through space. With just one hit, half of his body, including his heart, was blasted into bloody mist. But the Elder used this to escape, forcing himself out of the attack range. You did not pursue, but stopped, staring closely at the Elder in front of you. The Golden Core is not the reason. He should not be alive with his heart destroyed. This Elder seems to be perfectly fine. It is a bit evil. Use the system to check his traits first. Mo Chen Golden Core mid-stage. Acquired demonic body. Inner demon possession. Acquired demonic body. You frown slightly. It seems there might be a deeper secret within the Qingfeng sect. A look of relief appeared on the Elder face. Black and red spiritual energy erupted from his body, devouring the nearby chair, refining level 2 and level 3 miners. The miners' bodies turned into energy. Unexpectedly, the Elder half-body that was destroyed was fully restored. That strike just now broke through his golden core protection, and the power was incredibly firm. It was clearly a divine ability. This person's cultivation should be higher than mine. Thinking of this, Mo Chen quickly spoke. Is there a misunderstanding, fellow Taoist? This is the Qingfeng sect mine. You did not answer. With a flash, you appeared before Mo Chen again. The sword in your hand flashed down toward his head without hesitation. But this strike unexpectedly missed. Mo Chen suddenly released a dark red blood mist, shrouding the surroundings. While the atmosphere was tense, from the mine cave behind, several mangled figures flew out. Then Li Wuhan, covered in bloody spiritual energy, also walked out of the mine. Has he fallen into a demonic state? Why does he look so bloodthirsty? Thinking this, you quickly used your divine ability to attack the Elder. The second disciple situation looks bad right now. Ending this quickly is the right strategy. Mo Chen felt a great sense of danger, feeling his entire aura locked down. Facing that brilliant sword strike, he felt the shadow of death looming over him. Master, wait. Spare his life for now. Li Wuhan suddenly spoke. You pulled back your blade. With one hit, you heavily injured the Elder. Seeing his master hold back, Li Wuhan quickly breathed a sigh of relief. He rushed straight toward the Elder. Then blood-colored spiritual energy appeared in his hand, pressing down directly on the Elder head, facing Li Wuhan's rushing figure. Elder Mo Chen did not even have the strength to raise his hand. But then he discovered with horror the blood power in his body unexpectedly was being crazily absorbed by that foundation establishment brat.